The marble floor of the Banco de España branch on La Rambla echoed with the sharp click of Faith's worn sneakers as she approached the counter, her heart pounding like the distant flamenco guitars from a street performer outside. Just €500, she muttered to herself, clutching her passport like a lifeline, the leather frayed from too many border crossings. But the teller, a stern woman with a bun tighter than a bullfighter's knot, eyed her like she'd just tried to pawn off a counterfeit Picasso. "Ma'am, this account shows irregular activity. Minimal balance, sudden withdrawal, it's flagged as suspicious." The teller's voice sliced through the humid Barcelona air, thick with the scent of churros from a nearby vendor wafting in. Faith's cheeks burned, she could feel the stares from the line behind her, a mix of sunburned tourists and locals in linen suits, all pretending not to listen. Suspicious. The word landed like a slap. Faith, 26 and scraping by on freelance illustrations for American expat blogs, had poured every cent into this dream of a life abroad. Spain had called to her 2 years ago, a semester abroad turned escape from a Bible Belt family that whispered sin every time she dared mention a girl's name. And now, here she was, begging for pocket change because her latest gig had ghosted her. "Please," she whispered, voice cracking, "it's for rent. I swear, it's mine." The teller tapped her screen, unmoved. "We'll need to verify with security. Step aside." Faith's world tilted, she imagined the cops, the deportation whispers, the call home she'd never make. In that frozen second, the doors swung wide with a hydraulic whoosh, and in strode Felicity, tall, unyielding, like Athena reborn in Louboutins. All eyes snapped to her. Felicity Hargrove, 32, tech oracle and heir to a Silicon Valley fortune built on AI that predicted market crashes before breakfast. Her blonde bob caught the light like spun gold, and her stride ate the lobby in 3 steps. "What the hell is going on here?" Her voice was pure California cool, velvet over steel, cutting the tension like a knife through paella. The teller blinked, recognition dawning. "Miss Hargrove." "Faith," Felicity said, ignoring her, crossing to the counter in a blur of bespoke tailoring. She slid an arm around Faith's waist, possessive yet tender, pulling her close enough that Faith could smell her signature scent, bergamot and ocean salt, a reminder of Malibu sunsets. "Tell me they weren't giving you trouble." Faith's breath hitched. It had started 6 months ago, in a cramped tapas bar off the Gothic Quarter. Faith, sketching strangers to pay for her sangria, had caught Felicity's eye across the room, not for the billionaire glow, but for the way Faith's pencil danced over the page, capturing the ache in a busker's eyes. Felicity, fleeing boardroom wars and a fresh divorce from a man who'd never understood her, had bought Faith's drink. One conversation turned to 2, then stolen kisses under the Sagrada Familia spires. Love, fast and furious, like a siesta that stretched into dawn. Now, Felicity leaned over the counter, flashing a black Amex that could buy the branch outright. "Process the withdrawal. And comp her a coffee while you're at it." The teller stammered apologies, keys clacking furiously. Faith buried her face in Felicity's shoulder, the fabric of her blouse soft against her cheek. Relief flooded her, but underneath lurked the familiar shadow. How long before this fairy tale cracked? They spilled out onto La Rambla, the evening crowd a kaleidoscope of laughter and lottery tickets. Felicity hailed a cab, yellow like New York's, but with a Catalan flag fluttering from the mirror. "To the villa," she told the driver, then turned to Faith, thumb brushing her jaw. "You okay, mi amor?" Faith nodded, but the word suspicious echoed. "I hate this. Leaning on you like some damsel. I'm not your charity case." Felicity's laugh was low, disarming. "Charity? Baby, you're the only real thing in my fake-ass life." She kissed Faith then, slow and deep, right there amid the mime artists and gelato hawkers. Passers-by whistled, an old abuela crossed herself but smiled. In Spain, love wore many faces, and theirs fit like a glove. The villa perched on the hills above Sitges, a white stucco haven with terracotta roofs and bougainvillea climbing the walls like determined lovers. Felicity had rented it on a whim, her company's European expansion meant work from anywhere, but really, it was escape. From the ex-husband's alimony sharks, from investors sniffing for weakness, from the gnawing emptiness of boardrooms where she was, the queer billionaire whispered behind manicured hands. Inside, the air hummed with jasmine from the courtyard fountain. Faith kicked off her shoes, padding to the kitchen where paella simmered on the aga, Felicity's one domestic skill, learned from a chef in Ibiza. "Sit," Felicity commanded gently, pouring Albarino into fat glasses. "Tell me about the sketch you were working on today." Faith's illustrations were her anchor, whimsical portraits of Barcelona's hidden souls, the drag queen hawking roses at dawn, the fisherman mending nets with stories of lost loves. "It's you," she admitted, cheeks flushing. But not the polished version. The one who stares at the sea like it's about to swallow her whole. Felicity's eyes softened, the mask slipping. "Swallow me? Nah. Drown me, maybe." She set the plates down, steam rising like ghosts. Over dinner, they talked, really talked. Felicity confessed the board's latest ploy, pressure to marry some venture capital bro for optics. Faith shared the email from her mother back in Austin, "Come home, honey. This phase will pass. God has a plan." Phase. The word stung worse than suspicious. They made love that night on silk sheets, bodies tangling like the villa's olive branches in the breeze. No rush, no conquest, just mapping each other with fingertips and whispers. "You're my plan," Felicity murmured against Faith's collarbone. Faith believed her, in that hazy afterglow, as moonlight slanted through the shutters. But dawn brought emails. Felicity's phone buzzed incessantly, New York time, urgent. She slipped from bed, robe whispering, to the balcony. Faith watched from the sheets, tracing the curve of her silhouette against the Mediterranean's endless blue. How had she, a girl from Texas Dust Bowls, landed here? With a woman whose net worth could fund a small country. The first crack appeared a week later, at a gala in Barcelona's Palau de la Música. Felicity's firm was unveiling a new app, something about ethical AI for artists, ironic given Faith's freelance woes. Faith felt like an imposter in her borrowed dress, emerald silk that hugged her like a secret. "You look like a goddess," Felicity had said, pinning a sapphire brooch to her shoulder, an heirloom from her grandmother, the one who'd funded her first startup. The hall glittered, chandeliers dripping light, champagne flutes clinking like conspiracies. Felicity worked the room, her laugh a weapon, but her hand always found Faith's in the crowd. Until Elena appeared. Elena Vasquez, Felicity's ex from Stanford days, dark-haired, sharp as a switchblade, now a rival VC shark circling the same waters. "Felicity, darling," she purred in accented English, air-kissing cheeks. "Still playing house in Europe?" Faith tensed, but Felicity's grip tightened. "Elena." "Faith, this is the woman who thinks disruption means sleeping with the competition." Elena's eyes raked Faith, dismissive, appraising. "Charming. An artist, yes. How quaint." She leaned in, voice dropping. "Tell me, does she know about the clause?" Felicity's smile froze. "Another time." But Faith heard the hook in it. Later, in the cab home, she pressed. "Clause. What was that?" "Nothing. Old business." Felicity waved it off, but her jaw ticked. Faith let it slide, chalking it up to ex-drama. They tumbled into bed, reclaiming the night with urgent kisses, but the seed was planted. Days blurred into a rhythm, morning sketching on the villa's terrace, Felicity joining with her laptop, feet tangled under the table. Afternoons wandering Sidge's beaches, toes in the sand, sharing dreams. Faith wanted a gallery show, Felicity plotted world domination via code. Evenings, wine and stars, Felicity reading poetry, Pablo Neruda, her voice husky, "I want to do with you what spring does with the cherry trees." It was idle, American girl meets tech titan in Iberian sun. But idols breed storms. The betrayal brewed quietly. Faith's mother called again, voice syrupy with scripture. Faith Marie, your father's sick. Heart scare. And these pictures online, holding hands with that woman. It's breaking us. Faith hung up, tears hot, and drove to the beach alone. Waves crashed like accusations. Was this love worth the exile? Felicity found her at dusk, wrapped in a blanket against the chill. Talk to me. She listened, then pulled Faith close. Family's a bitch, but blood isn't everything. We make our own. They stayed till midnight, salt on their lips from kisses and sea spray. Yet Elena's shadow lengthened. Invites poured in, dinners, casual, meets. Felicity went, always returning with excuses, networking, babe. Faith nodded, but doubt gnawed. One night, scrolling Instagram in the villa's dim library, she stumbled on a photo, Felicity and Elena at a rooftop bar in Madrid, arms linked, captions winking, old flames back in business. Heart in her throat, Faith confronted her over breakfast, croissants crumbling like trust. Is it her? The clause, does it mean you need a straight front for the investors? Felicity's fork paused. God, no. Elena's stirring shit. The clause is just a buyout thing from our old partnership. If I settle down respectably, she gets a payout. Archaic crap. But the photo. Faked for the feed. PR stunt. Felicity reached across, but Faith pulled back. Suspicious, she echoed the teller's word, bitter. Like me at the bank. That night, silence stretched. Felicity slept on the couch, Faith stared at the ceiling, replaying every touch. Love wasn't just sparks, it was the slow burn of fear. The Sagrada Familia loomed like a half-dreamt spire against the July sky, its facades a riot of nativity scenes and passion plays frozen in stone. Faith and Felicity had planned this as makeup ground zero, a private tour, just them and gaudy-esque ghosts. But as they wandered the nave, sunlight fracturing through stained glass into kaleidoscopic rainbows, the air between them felt as fragile as the scaffolds outside. Look, Felicity whispered, pointing to a detail, two figures entwined in eternal embrace, carved with such tenderness it ached. That's us. Unfinished, but beautiful. Faith wanted to believe it. She leaned into Felicity's side, the cool stone floor grounding her. Promise me we're not just another investor ploy. That I'm not the phase my mom warns about. Felicity stopped, turning Faith to face her amid the pews. Tourists milled like distant waves, but here, it was sacred. Faith, you're the glitch in my system. The one I can't code out. She kissed her forehead, then lips, soft, sealing. I love you. End of story. For a week, it held. They dove deeper, Faith's sketches filled with Felicity's profile against olive groves, Felicity coded late, but always emerged with takeout empanadas and apologies. They hosted a small dinner, expats like them, a queer writer from Brooklyn, a painter fleeing Brexit London. Laughter echoed off the villa's tiles, wine flowing freer than the fountain. Faith caught Felicity watching her across the table, eyes soft with that rare vulnerability. What? Faith teased. You're glowing, Felicity said simply. And in that moment, Faith felt it, home, not in Texas soil, but in this woman's gaze. But betrayal doesn't announce, it seeps. It started with a call from New York, Felicity's COO, voice clipped, boards balking on the AI ethics pivot. They want stability. Elena's pitching alternatives. Felicity hung up, face ashen, and disappeared into her office for hours. Faith knocked later, tray of tea in hand. Talk. Felicity rubbed her temples. It's the clause, okay. From when Elena and I co-founded the startup. If I go, publicly partnered with someone non-traditional, she triggers a veto. Loses me millions in stock. Faith's stomach dropped. Non-traditional. Meaning me. No, meaning any woman. It's her revenge, post-coming out. She outed me, actually, to tank my marriage. Felicity's laugh was hollow. I bought her silence with equity. Now she's leveraging it. And the fix? Faith's voice was small. Felicity looked away, to the sea. Play along. Dates with a proxy. Or let her win. The words hung, unspoken, or leave me. Faith fled to the studio, pencils snapping in her grip. Her latest piece, a portrait of Felicity as a fractured mosaic, smeared under angry strokes. Was love a transaction? She'd left everything for this, family, stability, the American dream of pickets and potlucks. Now, it felt like Gaudi's basilica, grand, but eternally incomplete. Elena struck next at a tech summit in Madrid. Felicity dragged Faith along, moral support, but the conference hall reeked of ambition, keynotes on disrupting empathy, schmoozes over sushi. Faith lingered at the edges, sketching panelists' smug faces, until Elena cornered her by the espresso bar. Enjoying the circus. Elena's smile was a scalpel, her red dress a matador's cape. Faith straightened. It's enlightening. Shows how far some will go for a buck. Elena sipped her macchiato, eyes gleaming. Or for love. Felicity's always been dramatic, running to Spain like some Hemingway heroine. But she's mine, you know. In the ways that matter. Boardrooms. Legacies. Legacies built on outing people. Faith shot back, heat rising. Elena's laugh tinkled like broken glass. Collateral. She was closeted then. Hiding behind that sham marriage. I freed her. She leaned in, perfume cloying. But freedom costs. Ask her about the Madrid deal, the one where she promised discretion for funding. Faith walked away, pulse thundering, but the seed flowered into thorns. That night, in their hotel suite overlooking the Retiro Park, she waited till Felicity emerged from the shower, towel-draped and steaming. The Madrid deal. Discretion. Was that code for straight washing? Felicity froze, droplets tracing her collarbone. Faith, it's not. Was it? For the money. Tears welled, hot and unbidden. Am I just your Spanish summer fling? The one you trot out for optics, then shelve? No. Felicity crossed the room, grabbing her hands. The deal was pre-you. A stupid NDA to appease conservative backers. I ended it months ago, when I met you. But Elena says. Elena lies. She's poison, always has been. Felicity's voice cracked, the titan crumbling. I fought for us. Turned down a merger because it meant playing her game. Faith searched her eyes, blue as the bay, stormy now. Truth flickered there, but doubt clung like humidity. They argued till 3 a.m., words whipping like Sirocco winds, Faith's insecurities from years of fixable crushes, Felicity's armor forged in venture hell, where vulnerability was a bug, not a feature. I can't be your secret, Faith sobbed finally, collapsing onto the bed. Not after everything. You're not. Felicity knelt, forehead to Faith's. Marry me. Here, in Spain. Screw the clause, I'll burn the company first. The proposal hung, reckless and raw. Faith laughed through tears, pulling her close. You're insane. You're insane. They made up in tangled sheets, bodies a bridge over the chasm. Dawn painted the room rose gold, for a breath, it was enough. Back in Sidge's, wedding whispers buzzed. Felicity hired a planner, discreet, queer-friendly, scouting venues, a cliffside vineyard, a hidden cove chapel. Faith sketched invitations, hearts entwined with olive branches. Her mother sent a curt, praying for clarity, but Faith deleted it, choosing instead a call to her brother, I'm happy, Jake. Really? He paused, then hold on, sis. Love like that's rarer than a ranger's pennant. The climax brewed at the engagement dinner, an intimate affair at the villa, candles guttering in the breeze. Guests, the expat crew, plus Felicity's assistant from SF, flown in with a cake frosted like the Catalan flag. Laughter crested as Felicity raised her glass, to Faith, the woman who saw me, not the empire. Then Elena crashed it. She arrived uninvited, heels stabbing the gravel like accusations, a bottle of vintage Rioja in hand like a Trojan horse. Surprise, loves. Her smile was venom-sweet, eyes locking on Felicity. Heard the news. Mazel tov, or should I say, ole. Security hovered, but Felicity waved them off. What do you want, Elena? Congrats, truly. She popped the cork, pouring sloppily. But the board called. Your little elopement. It's tanking stock. Investors fleeing like rats from a vegan tapas bar. She slid a tablet across the table, headline scrolling, Hargrove's Lavender Leap, Romance or Ruin. Faith's blood iced. Proxies, Elena's work, leaked photos from the gala, twisted narratives of distraction from duties. You bitch, Felicity hissed, lunging. Guests gasped, Faith grabbed her arm. Elena smirked. The clause activates on public commitment. Call off the wedding, or I pull the trigger. Your empire crumbles. The table fell silent, wine souring. Faith's world fractured, the love she'd staked everything on, now a pawn in corporate chess. Is it true? She whispered to Felicity, voice breaking. Felicity's face crumpled. I thought we could fight it. Betrayal bloomed, sharp as a stiletto. Not just Elena's, Felicity's omission, the half-truths. Faith stood, chair scraping. You knew. And you let me dream. Faith, wait, but she was gone, fleeing to the courtyard, sobs racking under the stars. The rain came at midnight, unseasonal for Catalonia, drumming the villa's roof like impatient fingers. Faith packed in the guest room, suitcase yawning like a grave, sketches stuffed haphazardly, the sapphire brooch glinting accusation from the vanity. She'd slipped away from the dinner chaos, Elena's laughter chasing her like a curse. Now, alone, the weight crushed, love as collateral, dreams as leverage. Felicity knocked softly, silhouette haloed by hall light. Faith. Please. No answer. The door creaked open anyway. Felicity entered, drenched from the dash across the courtyard, hair plastered, eyes red-rimmed. I fired the planner. Cancelled everything. Faith sipped the case, throat tight. Good. Wouldn't want to tank your stock. Damn the stock. Felicity sank onto the bed, voice raw. It's you. Always was. Liar. The word escaped, venomous. Faith whirled, tears streaming. You knew the clause could destroy us, your life's work, and you proposed anyway. Like some romantic Hail Mary. Felicity flinched. I thought. We were stronger. That love beats contracts. Love? Faith laughed, bitter as unpicked olives. In your world, it's a bug. Squash it for the upgrade. Silence stretched, rain a mournful chorus. Felicity rose, crossing slow, hands outstretched. You're right. I should have burned it all day one. But I was scared, of losing you to the mess, of dragging you into my war. Faith stepped back, bumping the wall. Scared? Try terrified. Of being the poor artist girlfriend, the phase that costs you billions. You're not. Felicity cupped her face, thumbs brushing tears. You're everything. The sketches that make me cry, the way you hum Johnny Cash in the shower, off-key and perfect. I came to Spain broken, post-divorce, post-outing. You fixed me. Then why Elena? The photos, the leaks. Elena's desperate. My ethics pivot threatens her fossil fuel investments. This? Felicity pulled a USB from her pocket, rain slick. It's the kill switch. I hired lawyers today, void the clause, expose her. But it means war. Lawsuits, headlines. You ready for that circus? Faith searched her, the woman who'd walked into the bank like a storm, claiming her without question. Vulnerability stared back, unarmored. I don't know. They talked till dawn, rain easing to mist. Faith unpacked, piece by piece. Felicity laid bare her scars, the Stamford nights hiding kisses in dorm shadows, the marriage of convenience that hollowed her, Elena's betrayal that birthed the claws like a venomous child. I never loved her, Felicity confessed. Not like you. You see the code beneath the empire. Sunrise gilded the hills, they drove to the bank, not for money, but closure. Faith withdrew the $500, teller apologetic with free pastries. Outside, on La Rambla, Felicity knelt in the bustle, not with a ring, but her grandmother's brooch. No gala this time. Marry me when you're ready. Or don't. But stay. Fight with me. Faith pulled her up, kissing amid the crowd, mimes freezing, vendors cheering. Yes. But we rewrite the terms. No secrets. The war unfolded slow, American style, depositions in Barcelona boardrooms, leaks to the New York Times framing Elena as the villain. Faith testified, not as arm candy, but witness to love's quiet power. Her sketches went viral, Elena as a crumbling colossus, Felicity as Phoenix. Stock dipped, then soared on the ethics wave. Betrayal's echo lingered, but they mended it brick by brick. Faith's gallery show opened in the Gothic Quarter, portraits of queer expats, Felicity's face among them, titled Glitch Heart. Opening night, under dripping chandeliers, Felicity whispered, "Proud doesn't cover it." Months later, on a Sitges beach at equinox, they wed, barefoot, waves lapping, a justice of the peace with a guitar. No clause could touch this, vows exchanged in English and halting Catalan, rings of twisted olive wood. Faith's brother flew in, hugging tight, mom's coming around. Slowly. Her mother sent flowers, a note, love is the plan, after all. They honeymooned in Granada, Alhambra's gardens a maze of fountains and whispers. At the Court of the Lions, under starlit arches, Felicity traced Faith's palm. We built this. Us. Faith smiled, wind teasing her hair. Unfinished, but ours. Back in the villa, life wove on, Faith's commissions funding half the bills, Felicity stepping back from the C-suite for a creative lab, AI for artists, by artists. Elena faded, settled out, slinking to Dubai with tail tucked. Years blurred, a daughter adopted from a Madrid orphanage, auburn curls and blue eyes, named Esperanza, Hope. Family Thanksgivings blended Tex-Mex with paella, Faith's mom thawing over Zoom, toasting to phases that last. One evening, on the terrace, Faith sketched their girl chasing fireflies, Felicity's head on her shoulder. Suspicious. Felicity teased, echoing the bank's ghost. Faith grinned. Nah. Just lucky. In Spain's embrace, two American hearts found harbor, not perfect, but human. Love, after all, wasn't a glitch. It was the code.